We all know someone who says the lottery is pure randomness. But after studying winners for years, we realize there is something much deeper happening behind the scenes. Certain habits, decisions, and hidden behaviors appear over and over among people who hit life-changing jackpots. The strange part is that almost nobody is willing to openly discuss it. In this video, we are diving into the lottery secret most winners quietly keep to themselves, and what we found might completely change the way we play forever. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your dream jackpot amount because those who watch until the end could be the next lucky winner. Number 1. The one thing experienced players never admit publicly. Most lottery players believe the secret to winning is hidden somewhere inside the numbers themselves. That is exactly what keeps millions of people trapped in the same cycle every single week. But after studying long-term players, jackpot stories, and lottery behavior patterns, we started noticing something far more interesting. The players who stay in the game the longest and seem unusually confident almost never talk openly about how they actually approach the lottery. The strange part is that many experienced players do not obsess over finding perfect numbers every day. Instead, they become obsessed with controlling their emotions. That sounds simple at first, but it changes everything once we understand it deeply. Casual players often jump from strategy to strategy after every loss. They chase hot numbers one week, lucky birthdays the next week, then completely random picks after that. Experienced players rarely do this. They stay calm, consistent, and emotionally disciplined even during long losing streaks. This is the part most people never notice. The lottery is designed to trigger emotional decisions. Excitement, desperation, fear, and impatience quietly control how most people play. But the players who last the longest often create routines that protect them from emotional mistakes. Some buy tickets only on specific days. Some track patterns for months without changing systems. Others avoid increasing spending after losses because they know emotions destroy discipline faster than bad luck ever will. And honestly, this hidden psychological difference may be one of the biggest secrets separating serious players from everyone else. Number 2. Why many winners avoid lucky numbers. One of the most surprising things we discovered while studying lottery winners is that many of them quietly avoid relying too heavily on lucky numbers. At first, this sounds completely backwards because almost every lottery player has a personal system built around birthdays, anniversaries, favorite numbers, or emotional memories. For most people, those numbers feel special, almost powerful, but experienced players often see them very differently. The reason is psychological more than mathematical. When we become emotionally attached to certain numbers, we stop thinking clearly. We begin forcing the same combinations over and over, even when our strategy is no longer making sense. Many long-term players believe this emotional attachment creates tunnel vision. Instead of observing patterns calmly, people become trapped inside habits that feel comfortable. What makes this even stranger is that several jackpot winners later admitted they won using numbers they normally would never choose. Some used quick picks for years. Others rotated combinations constantly instead of staying emotionally loyal to one set forever. A few even believed that detaching emotion from the ticket helped them make smarter decisions over time. This does not mean lucky numbers never win. Of course they do. But many experienced players believe the real danger comes from obsession. Once emotion controls the process, discipline disappears very quickly. Players start chasing meaning inside every draw, every coincidence, and every near miss. That is why some serious lottery players secretly focus less on emotional numbers and more on consistency, patience, and controlled decision-making. And honestly, most casual players never even realize they are letting emotions choose their tickets for them. Number 3. The quiet habit many jackpot winners share. There is one behavior that keeps appearing in winner stories, yet almost nobody pays attention to it because it sounds far too ordinary to matter. Many jackpot winners develop quiet routines long before they ever win anything significant. They do not always play recklessly or emotionally. In fact, some of them approach the lottery with a level of patience that most casual players would find boring. This becomes obvious when we look at how different people react after losing. Casual players often disappear for weeks, then suddenly return during massive jackpots filled with excitement and desperation. Experienced players tend to behave differently. They create habits that stay consistent whether they win or lose. Some buy tickets at the same time every week. Some keep records of draws for months or even years. Others limit how much they spend no matter how emotional the jackpot becomes. At first glance, these routines seem meaningless. But psychologically, routines create control inside a game built entirely around uncertainty. That sense of control helps serious players avoid impulsive decisions that usually lead to frustration and overspending. It also keeps them mentally connected to a long-term strategy instead of chasing emotional highs. What is fascinating is that many winners later describe their lottery journey as repetitive rather than dramatic. There was no magical moment. No sudden genius system appeared overnight. Instead, they simply stayed disciplined longer than most people around them. And maybe that is the real reason this habit stays hidden. Quiet discipline is not exciting to talk about. But again and again, it quietly shows up behind many of the biggest lottery stories people remember. Number 4. What winners notice that most players miss? Imagine two people looking at the exact same lottery draw results. One person sees random numbers and moves on immediately. The other starts paying attention to small details most people ignore completely. This difference may sound insignificant, but many experienced players believe observation changes the way we approach the lottery over time. Most casual players only focus on the final outcome. They care about whether they won or lost, then quickly jump to the next draw without thinking any deeper. Serious players often behave differently. They become curious about repetition, frequency, timing, and even their own playing habits. They study not only the numbers, but also their reactions to wins, losses, and near misses. One thing many winners quietly understand is that the lottery can easily manipulate emotions. Near wins create excitement, repeated losses create frustration, huge jackpots create urgency. And once emotions take over, people stop making calm decisions. This is why some experienced players spend more time observing themselves than searching for magical number systems. Another detail most people miss is patience. Casual players often expect immediate results. If a strategy does not work quickly, they abandon it and chase something new. But many long-term players believe patterns only become visible through time and consistency. Whether those patterns are mathematical or psychological, they require attention most people never give. This may explain why certain players seem calmer and more focused even during massive jackpot events. They are not only watching the lottery itself, they are watching how people behave around it. And sometimes, that hidden awareness becomes more valuable than the numbers on the ticket. Number 5. The strange pattern. Some players keep ignoring. For years, many lottery players have searched endlessly for the perfect formula that could finally unlock a massive jackpot. Some study hot numbers, others follow cold numbers, lucky stores, dream interpretations, or complicated prediction systems. But while everyone is looking for a hidden code inside the numbers, a different pattern quietly keeps repeating itself in the background. Many experienced players notice that the people who lose control emotionally often make the worst decisions right before major draws. The excitement becomes overwhelming. Spending increases suddenly, strategies disappear, discipline vanishes. Players who normally stay careful begin buying random tickets impulsively because the jackpot feels too big to miss. This pattern happens constantly, yet most people never stop to recognize it. The lottery creates emotional pressure very effectively, especially when huge winners dominate the news and social media. Once that pressure builds, rational thinking becomes much harder. And according to many long-term players, this emotional shift destroys more strategies than bad luck ever could. What makes this even more fascinating is that some winners describe doing the exact opposite during high-pressure moments. Instead of becoming more reckless, they become calmer. They stick to routines, maintain spending limits, and avoid chasing emotional excitement. To outsiders, this behavior looks almost too simple to matter. But over time, emotional stability may be one of the rare advantages serious players actually control. Maybe that is why this pattern remains hidden from most people. It is easier to search for magical numbers than to admit emotions might secretly influence every ticket we buy. Number 6, why many winners keep their strategy private. One of the most mysterious things about lottery winners is how little they reveal after winning. People expect jackpot winners to share every detail about the ticket, the numbers, and the exact strategy they used. But surprisingly, many experienced players become even more secretive over time. And according to some long-term lottery communities, there may be a reason for that. The moment people believe they have discovered a successful approach, outside opinions begin flooding in immediately. Friends question them, other players copy them, social pressure grows stronger. Eventually, many players abandon the systems they originally trusted because too many voices start influencing their decisions. Serious players often try to avoid this completely by keeping their habits private. What makes this interesting is that secrecy itself can create stronger discipline. When nobody else is constantly judging our choices, it becomes easier to stay focused and consistent. Many experienced players quietly track numbers, analyze draws, or follow routines for years without discussing any of it publicly. To most people, this behavior seems unnecessary. But some believe privacy protects concentration and emotional stability. There is also another psychological layer most people ignore. Once a strategy becomes public, people naturally expect immediate results. Pressure increases dramatically. Every loss suddenly feels embarrassing. Every failed prediction creates doubt. Over time, that pressure can destroy confidence even if the original system never actually changed. This may explain why many winners rarely speak in detail about how they really played before winning. Sometimes the secret is not just the strategy itself. Sometimes the real secret is protecting the mindset behind it from noise, doubt, and emotional interference coming from everyone around us. Number 7, most winners never play completely randomly. A lot of people hear the word lottery and immediately assume everything is pure chaos. Numbers appear randomly, winners appear randomly, and nothing we do could possibly matter. But after listening to experienced players for years, we began noticing something unexpected. Many winners do not actually treat the lottery like complete randomness, even if they understand the game itself is unpredictable. Instead of buying tickets impulsively whenever excitement appears, serious players often create personal structures around how they play. Some choose the same type of combinations repeatedly. Others follow routines connected to timing, budget, or ticket selection methods. A few even spend more time reviewing their own habits than searching for perfect numbers. What separates them from casual players is not necessarily intelligence or luck. It is intention. Casual players often act emotionally in the moment. They buy tickets because jackpots become huge, because friends are playing, or because a random feeling suddenly appears. Experienced players tend to remove some of that chaos from the process. They try to make decisions before emotions take control. This becomes especially noticeable during massive jackpot periods. While most people rush to buy more tickets than usual, some long-term players barely change their behavior at all. They already decided how much they would spend, how often they would play, and what type of system they would follow long before the excitement started building. That quiet structure may not sound dramatic, but it creates a completely different mindset over time. And perhaps this is one of the least discussed secrets in the lottery world. Many winners understand that while numbers may be random, the way we approach the game does not have to be. Number 8, the mistake casual players repeat every week. There is a reason so many lottery players feel trapped in the exact same cycle month after month. They get excited before the draw, feel disappointed after losing, promise to change strategies, then repeat the same behavior all over again the following week. Most people never realize how predictable this pattern becomes over time. One of the biggest mistakes casual players make is constantly changing direction based on emotions. After a loss, they suddenly abandon their old numbers. After hearing about a winning ticket from another state, they copy completely different combinations. Some even believe a recent near miss is a sign they're getting closer to winning, which pushes them into making even more impulsive choices. Experienced players often view this behavior very differently. They understand that emotional reactions can quietly destroy consistency. Instead of constantly chasing new systems, many serious players focus on staying stable long enough to properly evaluate their decisions over time. They are less interested in emotional excitement and more interested in avoiding chaos. What makes this mistake dangerous is how normal it feels. Almost everyone does it at some point. The lottery creates powerful emotional swings because every draw carries hope, frustration, and anticipation at the same time. Without realizing it, many players start making decisions based on mood instead of logic. And perhaps that is why this cycle continues endlessly for so many people. They spend all their energy searching for better numbers while completely ignoring the habits controlling how they play. In many cases, the real problem is not the strategy itself. The real problem is the constant emotional switching that prevents any strategy from being followed consistently in the first place. So, in the end, the biggest lottery secret may not be hidden inside lucky numbers or magical systems at all. It may come down to discipline, emotional control, consistency, and the small habits most casual players never pay attention to. The players who last the longest often think differently, stay calmer, and avoid the emotional mistakes that quietly destroy so many chances before the draw even begins. And if you think that was surprising, the next video on your screen reveals the one mistake that secretly ruins most lottery strategies without people even realizing it. Once you notice it, you may never approach the lottery the same way again. And honestly, it explains why so many players stay stuck for years. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts or lucky numbers below. Good luck, stay hopeful, and we will see you again in the next video.